Coming up on Valley View News, some students find it hard getting a job in their field, but one CSUN student found a way around that. Plus, Valentine's Day is more than just teddy bears and roses. And the Oscars made history.
The Oscar goes to Parasite.
Plenty of Oscar buzz after the Academy Awards. Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Xochitl Hernandez.
And I'm Tyler Ridgel. Parasite was the big winner. It captured 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Amari Martin recaps Hollywood's biggest night later in the Entertainment Report.
LAPD was involved in a high-speed chase Sunday. Police say the suspect was armed and dangerous after committing an assault. The suspect drove a black Mustang from Sepulveda Boulevard to the 118 freeway. It ended in the Granada Hills area. The suspect deserted the car near Woodley Avenue, then jumped several fences. He attempted to escape through a residential neighborhood, but authorities caught him at gunpoint.
A University of New Hampshire study found that 2020 presidential candidate Bernie Sanders leads the polls in this week's New Hampshire primary. The university's tracking poll has him ahead by 7 points. About half of the voters say they've made up their minds. The polls show Sanders with 29%, 22% for Pete Buttigieg, 11% for Joe Biden, 10% for Elizabeth Warren, and 7% for Klobuchar. Sanders is an independent, but he's running under the Democratic banner.
Starting your own business is always tough, especially when it doesn't fit with your college degree. Valley View News reporter Esteban Reynoso spoke to a woman who now does something totally different from what she studied in college. Let's take a look.
Many college students must work just to make ends meet. That used to be the case for eyelash specialist Melissa Zamora. She started her own business just one semester before graduation.
It became my dream. And I went to go get certified, and that's what brought me. So it was like my own desire.
Zamora started an eyelash extension business called Lashes by Mel in an empty room at her parents' house. She received her bachelor's degree in psychology of all things, but the degree doesn't have as much meaning to her as her beautification certificates hanging on the wall. Her BA isn't even up there.
I think I'm also gonna hang up my bachelor's.
Her parents have been helpful to Zamora's dream, but she finds it difficult asking them for help with her business.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was working 9 to 5, and sometimes if he had overtime, he would go chase after the overtime. But they don't know what it's like not to have a boss. It was really hard.
Zamora's psychology degree didn't totally go to waste.
I wouldn't even change it if I could go back to college, because I feel like psychology taught me how to listen, because I have to listen to these clients. A lot of these clients don't come to enhance their beauty. A lot of these clients come to vent because they don't have somebody to vent to. And I like being that person.
Zamora says even though psychology wasn't what she expected, she still uses the skills that it gave her and combines that with her passion to prove that sometimes beauty can come before brains. I'm Esteban Reynoso in San Fernando for Valley View News.
The death of veteran actor-comedian Orson Bean led to an outpouring of grief in the Los Angeles theater community. The 91-year-old was recently hit and killed in Venice Beach. Bean was struck by 2 cars while crossing Venice Boulevard. Some think that pedestrian safety is a problem plaguing LA streets. City data shows that 244 people died in collisions last year. 134 of those deaths were pedestrians, 19 were cyclists. Since last year, more than 1,500 modifications to crosswalks, traffic signals, intersections were made to make roads safer for pedestrians and cyclists.
The Valentine's season is here. Don't worry if you haven't made dinner reservations. Waffle House will be taking bookings at some diners. In fact, 31 Waffle Houses in Alabama will be offering the promotion. To book reservations, go to wafflehouse.com.
Many people celebrate Valentine's Day, but few actually know its origins. Valley View News reporter Omar James uncovered the truth about Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Love is in the air, roses are being picked, and money is being spent. How did the recognition of Valentine's Day turn into what's universally recognized as a day for love?
I feel like it depends. Like if you're like single, it's just a regular day, but if you're in a relationship, it's like who can get each other the better gift or whatever, so you can flex it on Snapchat.
Pop culture portrays Valentine's Day as a day for gift exchanges, for love and affection, and to share with your significant other.
Okay, well, yeah, it's not a real holiday. I just know it's like really made to make money during that time period.
Valentine's Day isn't an official holiday, but many businesses love this time of year.
Yeah, for sure. Especially during like last minute type things. Everyone just comes in and tries to buy stuff.
Legend has it that the name came from Emperor Claudius II. He executed 2 men, both named Valentine, on February 14th in the 3rd century.
We're celebrating death, but we're really celebrating love.
After some people learned the origins of Valentine's Day, they were asked if it's still a special day.
Are you serious?
The National Retail Federation estimated that over $20 billion will be spent on Valentine's Day this upcoming year. It's not bad for a holiday started by the death of 2 Valentines. Reporting live from Valley View News, I'm Omar James.
The Academy involved a lot of talk about huge wins and poignant speeches. You couldn't forget that Eminem performance of his legendary song, Lose Yourself. Amari, what did you think?
I thought it was interesting, especially that it was the 2nd year in a row the Oscars had no host. Let me tell you a little bit about the biggest winners from last week. Before any awards were given, the red carpet was filled with many looks. Spike Lee wore a purple suit with yellow lining and the numbers 2 and 4 on each lapel of his tux to honor Kobe Bryant. Natalie Portman embroidered her Dior cape with all of the female directors who weren't nominated this year. Janelle Monáe opened by singing Won't You Be My Neighbor. Her performance included shout-outs to women nominees. She had dancers dressed like characters from this year's top movies. And rapper Eminem stunned the audience performing Lose Yourself from 2002's Oscar-winning film 8 Mile. Eminem and Sir Elton John even got together for a post-Oscar photo. With 8 other films nominated this year, Parasite is the first film not in the English language to win an Oscar for Best Picture. Director Bong Joon-ho also earned an award for Best Director. Parasite won for Best International Feature and Original Screenplay. He says writing a script is a lonely process and that directors never write to represent Korea. During his awards speech, through his translator Sharon Choi, Joon-ho further said his award for Best Picture is very personal to South Koreans. Joaquin Phoenix won his first Oscar for Best Actor for Joker. He said he didn't feel elevated above his fellow nominees. He gave a heartfelt message about change.
We fear the idea of personal change because we think that we have to sacrifice something to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And I think that when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment.
This was his 3rd time being nominated in this category. Renee Zellweger won Best Actress in her leading role for her performance as Judy Garland in Judy. This is Zellweger's 2nd Oscar. It's her 4th nomination and 3rd in the leading role category. Other nominees for Best Actress in leading role include Cynthia Erivo in Harriet, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan in Little Woman, and Charlize Theron in Bombshell. That's all for your entertainment news. I'm Amari Martin.
The school semester is fully in swing for Matadors.
That's right. Why don't we go to the sundial for a look into this week's headlines? Here's Andy Esparza.
Thank you. This week at the sundial, we are covering the flu. Our issue will analyze how the flu is depicted in film and how young children are impacted by this viral infection. Our new issue is available this Wednesday, and make sure to tune in online for new and updated content. Thank you, and back to you.
The Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox have finally completed their major trade.
And a New York deli is giving away free food for lucky New Yorkers who are on top of their math skills.
Did you make the transfer to Hong Kong for the Emerson project?
I was just about to, but did you see the boss's email? It doesn't look right.
It looked fine to me.
I don't remember him mentioning the Emerson project at our last meeting.
The bank in Hong Kong closes in 15 minutes. Make the transfer.
Yes, sir. It's on the way.
Mr. Jacobs, just transferred the money for the Emerson project.
What Emerson project?
Don't be that guy. Trust but verify.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Well, now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back to Valley View News. We have an update on international news from Sofia Gutierrez in our Digital Media Center.
Thank you, Tyler. Armed soldiers and police officers accompanied Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele in storming the nation's parliament Sunday afternoon. President Bukele demanded opposing lawmakers vote to approve his plan for a $109 million loan that would better equip military personnel and law enforcement in their fight against gang violence. El Salvador has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Tensions between the president and lawmakers have been on the rise over the loan, which is intended to finance the 3rd phase of the Territorial Control Plan. The government says that the average daily killings in the country have fallen as a direct result of the plan. Hundreds of flights across Europe were canceled due to Storm Sierra, the same storm that helped a British Airways plane to make the fastest ever flight between New York to London. 2 of Europe's busiest airports, one in Germany and one in Netherlands, had to ground more than 100 flights. At least 130 flights were canceled in Frankfurt, and 120 in Amsterdam's airport were affected by the storm. Travel warnings have been issued across the UK, with heavy winds expected in England and Wales. The government announced 248 flood warnings, meaning flooding is expected throughout the country. The First Lady of Lesotho, Mireles Tabane, has been released on bail before her trial next week. She's charged with murdering her husband's former wife, Lilibeth Tabane. She was reportedly shot outside of her house in the capital of Maseru. It happened just 2 days before Prime Minister Thomas Tabane's inauguration in June 2017. Mireles Tabane was also charged with attempted murder of another woman who was with the former First Lady the night she was killed. Hundreds gathered at a candlelight vigil in Thailand province on Sunday. 29 people were killed in a shooting rampage that started at a military base and ended at a shopping mall. A waitress from a mall restaurant said she and 20 others sheltered inside the staff room. On their way through the evacuation areas, she heard another round of gunfire coming from the mall. Authorities worked to calm everyone down and asked people to go home. Mourners gathered at the statue of Lady Mo. She was a historic figure who protected residents from an invasion in the 1820s. A large crowd of men sexually harassed and abused students at a women's college in New Delhi, India last week. It sparked protest over the past few days. The school reports that thousands of men jumped the gates of the university, damaging the property while the police and staff stood by. Officials say police are investigating claims that officers didn't take action during the alleged assaults. More than 100 U.S. troops received traumatic brain injuries after Iran attacked their Iraq base in early January. No one died, but approximately 200 people were in the blast zone during the attack. Those people were being treated for symptoms of brain damage. At the time, President Donald Trump tweeted that all is well after the missile attack. The attack was believed to be in retaliation for a top Iranian general who was killed by a U.S. zone strike. That is all for you for international news. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Sophia. The Quarantine Diamond Princess cruise ship has 65 new cases of coronavirus, bringing the infected number of people on board to 135. The cruise ship in Tokyo has kept more than 3,000 people on board since last week. Most may be released on February 19th. 11 Americans are among those infected, along with 45 Japanese and people from other parts of the world. The virus has killed more than 900 people globally since the outbreak began. More than 40,000 people are believed to be infected. Although public attention has been kept on the coronavirus, there is another virus spreading throughout the country. The CDC reports influenza A and influenza B are both common viruses that citizens in over 45 states, including Puerto Rico, are being commonly affected by. However, influenza A has seen a rise in children, people ages 25 to 64, and those 65 and older. Doctors are encouraging people to wash their hands and call your doctor right away if you experience flu-like symptoms to get a prescription for antiviral medication.
The average weight for newborns has dropped 2.4 ounces since 1990. The average weight for newborns is now 7.16 pounds. University of Colorado researchers say the drop is linked to shorter pregnancies due to C-sections and induced labor before 40 weeks. Low birth weights under 5 pounds increase a child's risk for health problems.
The Boston Red Sox, Los Angeles Dodgers, and Minnesota Twins finally completed a blockbuster trade. A trade was completed by the teams originally a week ago, but the Twins backed out of the trade. The Dodgers will now receive superstar Mookie Betts, left-handed starter David Price, and cash from the Red Sox. They also received the Twins' #1 pitching prospect, Brusdar Graterol, and a 2020 draft pick. The Red Sox received outfielder Alex Verdugo, infielder Jeter Downs, and catcher Connor Wong from the Dodgers. The Twins received starter Kenta Maeda, cash, and a minor leaguer.
The Los Angeles Clippers blew out the Cleveland Cavaliers last night in Cleveland without their superstar Kawhi Leonard. The final score was 133-92. Lou Williams led the Clippers in scoring with 25 points, along with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Newly acquired center Andre Drummond scored 19 points and grabbed 14 rebounds in the loss. The Clippers will take on the Philadelphia 76ers in Philadelphia next.
On National Hockey League, the Anaheim Ducks won 3-2 against the Buffalo Sabres, who come from winning their last game. The Los Angeles Kings lost 1-4 to the New York Rangers, who fought hard to take the win home. They will also be playing against the Calgary Flames on Wednesday. The Colorado Avalanche won 3-2 against the Minnesota Wild with an intense back-to-back game in the second half. Coming up on Valley View News, Popeye's restaurant boosts up after introducing their famous chicken sandwiches.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it? You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
A New York deli is giving away free food, but only if you can solve a math equation.
Here's Valley View's Brittany Smith with social media and tech.
Now that the coronavirus death toll has risen to more than 900, and the economic toll is rising as well. China is the world's second largest economy. Most industries in China have been shut down for the last 2 weeks. The outbreak is driving up the cost of food in China. People in China are hoarding food for emergency during the lockdowns. Regulators have also fined supermarkets for deliberately spiking prices of vegetables. Analysts have warned that the virus will have huge implications for Chinese economic growth this quarter. The Popeyes chicken sandwich craze helped give a major boost to a restaurant conglomerate. Restaurant Brands International, which also owns Burger King and Tim Hortons, says that sales at all Popeyes restaurants jumped almost 50% from October to December compared to 2018. Newly opened Popeyes restaurants saw their sales jump 34%. The release of the chicken sandwich gets credit. Burger King also delivered strong results with the release of the Impossible Whopper. The company says it's looking to add more plant-based products given the success they've had. A New York deli has gone viral because of a fun game that they're playing with customers.
OT, if you get this question right, you have 5 seconds to pick up whatever you want.
All right.
10 times 10 minus 50.
50.
5, 4, not my cat, 3, 2, 2 1/4, 2 2/4, hookah, 2 3/4. What?
Cashier Ahmad Alwan started this game with customers, where they answer a math equation correctly, then have 5 seconds to grab anything they want from the store. The video went viral on the app TikTok and has brought attention to the deli. Alwan pays for everything from his own pocket and says he just wants to give back to the community. Alwan's father, the owner of the store, says he's very proud of his son for the good work he's doing in the community and positively representing Islam. NASA and the European Space Agency have launched the Solar Orbiter on a 2-year journey from Cape Canaveral last night. It will get a close but unprecedented look at our sun. The mission is to capture images of the north and south poles of the sun. They want to understand the sun's magnetic field and the effects on Earth. The orbiter is equipped with 10 different instruments that can capture the sun's corona and solar disk. The Mobile World Congress is losing attendees. Amazon, Sony, and Ericsson are withdrawing from the event due to continuous concerns about the coronavirus. Many of the companies can't assure their employees their health and safety. The event is to promote new products and latest innovations. Even though big companies have backed out, coordinators say the event will not be canceled. They will be restricting access to visitors from China and will double their medical support. Google, YouTube, Venmo, and LinkedIn sent cease and desist letters to Clearview AI, a facial recognition app that currently helps law enforcement in the United States. Clearview AI also claims to sell some information to American banks for fraud investigations. It draws billions of photos from the internet and has developed a face recognition app which identifies someone through a picture. The app claims it will be available to only law enforcement, just used to identify criminals only. YouTube is owned by Google, says the company is currently violating its privacy policies. Video game companies are always looking for new ways to bring in customers. Loot boxes are the newest trend. Valley View News reporter Demethy Teen has more on the story of how some kids might be gambling in these video games using these loot boxes.
Gambling usually happens in casinos, but the latest craze is gambling in video games, and your kids are probably doing it. Loot boxes are games of chance within the actual video game. You pay real money and win a random prize. Alejandro Williams says the goal is to show off.
You know, you're spending money to essentially try to get a product straight just for cosmetic value. You know, it's just make the character look cooler.
Some people are worried they could be a gateway to gambling addiction in kids.
It's eye candy, you know.
Williams says kids are drawn to the visuals.
It could be a diamond or something, but you want it. And it's just right there in front of you. Pretty colors? Yeah, you would want to get that.
And that's one of the problems. Loot boxes, like casinos, tend to use bright lights and loud noises to give off a sense of accomplishment. That sense of accomplishment can be addicting to some gamers like Michael Espinoza.
I've spent about $200 a month, on just cosmetic skins on just the loot boxes. I think what makes it so addicting is that the loot boxes are completely random. So if you don't get a certain skin that you want, it's like you just have to keep trying.
Yet some companies continue to deny loot boxes as a gambling feature. They give them alternative names like surprise mechanics. In Northridge, I'm Demethy Teen, Valley View News.
That's it for social media and tech news. I'm Brittany Smith. Sochi, back to you.
If you're feeling especially bothered by the thought of your ex this Valentine's season, the San Antonio Zoo has something you might like. Zoo staff will name a cockroach after your former ex-significant other and feed it to an animal. This will take place during the Cry Me a Cockroach event on Valentine's Day for just $5. If you're willing to pay $20 instead of a cockroach, you can have the zoo feed a rat named after your ex to a reptile. You have until February 13th to submit a name to the zoo's website. That's all for us at Valley View News. Thank you for watching. I'm Xochitl Hernandez.
And I'm Tyler Ridgel. For news any time of day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. See you next week.